This
meeting on
conference will now
October
be
6th
recorded.
at 1 o'clock, and they have invited all of us. They're going to have some state representatives there to talk about Senate Bill 1. So it's going to be an educational type thing. Carol plans on going. I know Bob said he was going. So anyway, I just want to remind everyone if you're able to attend, and hopefully we'll hear back. Steve, were you planning on trying to attend that?
I have it on my calendar,
Okay.
and I will try to go.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
plan to attend too.
Okay. So it'd be nice if somebody would shoot us an email at least, or we could have some discussion at one of the meetings about how it went and a little bit of maybe of what you've learned. So, okay, any other announcements? We will move on to our public hearing. This is for our 2026 proposed budget estimate. Ordinance number 2025-11 on its first reading. Our proposed budget is $5,953,499. That's just over $965 more than last year's advertised budget, and the bulk of the increase was reflected in the TIF appropriations. Tonight will be our first reading. Our second reading and final adoption will be September 23rd, 2025. The purpose of the public hearing is to allow for public comment on the proposed budget appropriations. So I would call for first I will call it to order, and then I will call for public comment. Do we have any from the public that's here tonight? Carol, the last I knew, you had not gotten any emails or phone calls or anything from anyone? Okay. Okay. So we will move on to closing the meeting for public comment and on to open discussion between council members.
I have nothing to comment.
Okay. Steve or Carol, is there anything else you would like to add that I didn't?
I would just say thank you to Carol. She's done an amazing job as usual in putting all of this together and balancing all the multiple components of it.
Anything,
I've
Carol?
been so focused on all this other stuff, I
I know.
didn't bring my budget binder in here, and that's the bulk of my job. But does anyone have any questions on it? My big concern is what our revenue is gonna look like in the future.
Well, hopefully this SB1 meeting will enlighten, maybe shed some light on the subject.
That starts in 2027. Is that right?
We'll probably see some of the impacts sooner than that, but the real reductions in revenue, yeah. Because our lit rate structure is changing. It'll be like at the end of 2027, so 2028, we won't have seated. We won't have the public safety lit as we know it, and we're going to be dependent upon the county because of the size population that we are. For some of the things that we will be eligible for, we're going to have to petition the county, and right now some of it on an annual basis. So it does make it harder to plan.
Plus, we have to do our own petitioning. We have to remember to actually do that on an annual basis now.
Well, and I don't think anybody at this point really knows what that process is going to look like, which is one of the reasons why it's important to be in communication with the county.
Would those approvals come from county council or county commissioners?
That I'm not sure on either.
It's supposed to be council, but they may change it.
I know we won't get any money unless we do the petitioning.
The county can keep a portion too. So,
Okay, any other questions or comments? As Steve said, Carol, thank you very much. I know it takes a tremendous amount of your time and a lot of working with the department heads, so thank you to everyone involved. Okay, we will at this point have our first reading of ordinance number 2025-11, the ordinance for appropriation and tax rates.
Did you adjourn the public hearing?
she did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she closed it. I guess you didn't adjourn the public hearing, you closed it to public comment.
Okay, I will adjourn the public meeting and we will now have our first reading of the ordinance. But I don't have that up here.
Oh, because,
Is it in this pile that you gave? It's in this pile. Can he read it from here?
I'm not sure it is because you don't sign it, so I think I
Okay.
put it in for next meeting.
Well, I don't have it yet. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's all right, we'll get it.
Actually, you can read it by title, so I could probably do it right now.
Here, I'm just gonna cause, our attorney to read ordinance 2025-11 for the first time by title only.
And, well, I'll wait till she.
Are you just working off your copy?
Yeah, we're just working off,
Okay.
the agenda. Is that okay?
That's not enough. I don't think. Is it?
It only needs to be introduced by title,
Okay.
I think, so unless Carol wants it done in more formal way.
No, I just didn't know if you had your copy of the Form 4. No.
And it's ordinance number 2025-11, titled Ordinance for Appropriations and Tax Rates, open paren, Form 4, close paren, I believe. And so a motion to introduce that only would be in order in a second. That's a formal introduction. You can make that motion now. Not pass to introduce it formally.
So I move to introduce that formally.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed?
I think that's all you need to do on that for now.
We will have our second reading and final adoption on September 23rd. On to any open discussion. Just in case you were wondering, I put the appraisal under old business.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we will move on to Park and Cemetery. Let's go ahead, since we have a guest, we'll take care of our park report for the inclusive playground before you give Casey's report.
Sure, yes,
Is that okay?
absolutely.
Okay, we have with us tonight Jalissa Kessler, who is co-chairing the committee. And Casey had told us he would give quarterly reports, and I think she's here to do that tonight.
And this is for the all-inclusive playground, right?
It is.
Which has a new name.
So it isn't, yep. So it's now called the Diamond Discovery Zone. So that's what we've named the committee as well. We began meeting in February. It's a 7-person committee. We've met monthly, except in August, we met twice. The committee is compiled with great representation from the community. We've got Casey and Steve, myself, and I'm the CEO at the ARC, Humboldt County Foundations. So we're a service provider for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Jamie Howard is with the Central Humboldt Schools and has a child with a disability. Tiffany is on the park board. We have an owner of an ABA therapy company that sits right on 6 at the 6 and 9 by the gas station there, and then a contractor. Together, we're very excited to work with the town council, the park board, and funders to bring a playground to Albion for everyone to enjoy. We want everyone to have a space they can enjoy and have fun in, no matter their ability. The Diamond Discovery Zone will be a fully inclusive and accessible playground where all children, adults, and families can play, explore, and grow together. In the last few months, we've been focused on meeting with vendors and learning about what they have to offer. No vendor can be compared apples to apples, so we've done a lot of research and a lot of looking at the different equipment that they all have to offer. They have similar products, but not exactly the same things. So as we've met with them, we've taken into consideration the quality of the product, the company's customer service, the materials vendors are using, so what the equipment is actually made out of. Casey is really looking at the maintenance, the upkeep, and the life of the equipment. Vendors, the knowledge they have and the understanding of the population that we're looking to serve. So we want to serve 0 to 99 years old, everybody, no matter where they're at. We want to have an aesthetic value, and we're very keen on wanting to make sure that the 5 elements of play are included. So it's inclusive and accessible. It's universally designed, which means, for example, we're not putting in a ramp for only someone in a wheelchair to use it, and others would use a stairway, or automatic doors versus a door that has to open. So that's a universal design. So we're really looking at that, as well as meeting all of those ADA requirements. The path is wide enough, flush transition, so from the ground to concrete and vice versa, and then a unitary surfacing. We want to make sure we're including multisensory play experiences. So we're looking at that tactile, vestibular, visual, proprioceptive, olfactory, and auditory sensory items, encouraging all to be able to play together. Looking at sensory needs, so there are autism or sensory processing disorders, and what kind of features we need to include so that they have a place that's cozy and quiet, benches, tables, shades, things like that. And then have a welcoming environment. So looking at different types of play as well. We have visited 10 sites that have playgrounds that they say are inclusive in the Fort Wayne, Auburn, Warsaw, Michigan City, and Kendallville areas. I personally have taken my children, who are 2 and 5, to 9 of those 10, and we've loved the equipment that we all were able to play on. We've looked at everything from the accessibility of getting on that equipment to transferring from a wheelchair if a child's able to do that, all those kinds of features. So we've really put a lot of work into this. I want to emphasize how proud I am of the committee for all the collaboration and thought that we put into it. It's been very interesting to me as I've gone around to different sites, how much we are thinking of here in a small town that we want to include that these big cities have not included. And I'm not kidding when I say they've thrown one swing in that may be accessible for somebody in a wheelchair or with a disability and consider themselves inclusive. And that is not inclusive at all. So we are really looking at all of those things. We want to make sure fencing is around the property or around the playground and not the fencing that's currently there. Because especially with autistic population, they are escapers. They will climb through that fence that's currently there. So we're looking at things like that. The parking, seating, we don't want to segregate by age or ability level. So making sure that it's flush and all of that equipment, no matter which side of that pavilion they're on, they can enjoy the equipment. And then making sure that multiple pieces are accessible. The site visits have also made us note considerations such as the height of the equipment, whether it's from the ground for younger children or someone in a wheelchair, being accessible from a wheelchair or a stroller, and then the height of the swings off the ground. We've seen a very wide variety of level of things, and that's something that we have spoken with the vendors about possibilities for us to have a say in how high and low things are. Today, Casey and I met with AWS, which is out of Fort Wayne. We've been following their playground guidelines that they provided to us with the goal of applying to them for a grant. They funded a lot of other inclusive playgrounds in the area. And she was very impressed today with all the work we put in. She said we are by far a lot further along in the process than most grant applicants would be when they submit their grant application. So I think that was pretty cool. She feels like we have a solid proposal. And she said we would be the first in Northern Indiana to have anything that's accessible, but also on the level that we're really looking at it being. On July 31st, we put a Facebook teaser on the park Facebook page. Excitement was huge. And the comments we were seeing was that make sure there's a fence. This park, we love it, but there's no fence, or there's no of this equipment that we like. So I think the public is very excited as well for what little they know. And the committee is definitely really excited. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Sounds like you guys have put in some major time there. I'm excited.
We do have quite a few renderings from the vendors as well. So now we're ready to look at kind of narrowing down what equipment we're really wanting, and things like that.
AWS would likely be a huge, the potential is there for them to be a huge contributor.
Yes.
So it's kind of important that you,
So they were formed out of Anthony Wayne Services that used to be in Fort Wayne. And when that closed, then the foundation was established. So they are very big supporters of the population we're really wanting to serve, and they love that we're looking at it for both disabilities and not, but also the all ages, from children to. So she said today they sometimes will do like a grant match where they'll say you have to raise this and then we'll match this. It's all up to the committee that just makes decisions, but we're very hopeful that they will support us.
Are you guys thinking about like trying to do something like that? Maybe getting a fundraising
A match.
thing? Yes, where you can get like a match.
Yeah, so we've started a list of places that we want to talk with about applying for grants, as well as doing community fundraisers and things like that.
the one park that I went with her family to visit, a lot of the pieces are donated by either families, individuals, or businesses, which I think there are a lot of local people and businesses that would probably buy into that. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. They've always been very supportive. And I don't know if you've seen that other, I've only been to one of the parks with her, but
Kind of like the
I was very
schools doing.
impressed by that.
Like the school's got this fundraiser thing going, like for their FFA, they have, like here's a docket sheet of what it costs for all these things and you can sponsor something.
These had plaques and stuff that told.
Oh, I see.
The ground was one of the big things that I noticed too. There's what's called pour in place, and it's kind of like the track is the best way I can explain it. So it's a soft ground, and only one of the parks I went to had it. All the rest were wood chip mulch, which are absolutely not accessible in a wheelchair. So
That was the one I went to then. I know.
Yep.
It was nice. It was extremely, that was real.
It was a
soft.
soft track.
yeah, it's a soft like
Rubberized.
Well,
yeah.
push it over.
So if they were to fall, they wouldn't fall on it. The biggest complaint we heard at the park we were at that had it, it was off the lake, so people were walking barefoot and they're like, it's hot, but typically you're not walking barefoot, so
Yeah, it
that
was
wouldn't
right.
be an issue. And I didn't think it was super hot, but it was like 90 degrees out.
And it was directly off the beach. It was at Winona Lake.
Are restrooms included in this?
So we currently have the one restroom down there, which is accessible. We have talked about putting an adult changing table in. That's something that is not very wide definitely not around us. So for the population that needs to be able to be supported in the restrooms. So that's something we put on there. When we met with AWS today, she said to also note, like Casey mentioned, the repaving of where the handicap parking currently is and some of the work that is already in the plan of the strategic plan. She said to make sure we note that because that's going to show that we're wanting to make that whole area better, not just the playground, and that there's long-term plans there. And then data on how many people it would serve and what that would be needed for that particular grant, as far as people with disabilities and without.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Julissa?
Good job, Julissa.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the committee's dedication because they're putting a lot of time into it. Okay, you're welcome to stay and be entertained, or if you'd like to leave, either way. Or if you run out of entertainment, go ahead and slide out if you want. Okay, we will move on then to Casey's park report. And I believe you're doing that, Steve.
Yes, Casey unfortunately had a family commitment tonight, and so I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. The main thing, he sent you his report and everything, so I won't go over any of that. But he did say the one thing is he's seeking your approval to go out to solicit quotes for the 2 mowers that he needs to replace. And that has been factored into the budget. It's about a $36,000 overall cost for the 2 mowers, but then he anticipates about 12,000 in trade. So it brings the net amount needed to about 24,000, of which he's factored in funding out of CEDAT, the cemetery budget, and the park budget to meet that financial amount.
We have a consensus that it's all right for him to go ahead and work on quotes. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
that was the only action item, so,
Correct, yes.
okay, all right, thank you. You want to move on to his cemetery report, or are you doing that as well? Or
I'm not sure. I don't have anything to add. You've got, unless Corey has something to add.
Basically, we have his report and there were no action items, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Steve. We'll move on to street and cemetery. Corey.
I'm sure the council will receive the August report for the street and cemetery. In the cemetery, we had 1 service in the month of August. And for the street, we've been able to finally get caught up with catch basins and sweeping. Not sweeping, that's been down, but spraying weeds, getting roadsides mowed, and before we know it, we'll be picking up leaves. I don't have anything else unless there's any questions for me.
Do you have any idea when you're gonna start the leaf pickup this year?
Yes.
It's just gonna be flexible on conditions?
Yeah, it's obviously flexible on conditions, you know, if there's real heavy when we do a stop. Yes.
They hung on for a long time last year.
Yep. We plan on, I don't have the exact dates, we went over it the other day, I apologize, I forgot, but I think it's the second weekend of October into the second weekend of December.
Okay. Thank you.
If you'll email me those dates in the next few, then I'll put it on the agenda when you're not here next time so that Matt gets that. Okay. Any other questions for him before we review the truck quotes? Okay. All right, let's go on to your vehicle purchase.
Okay, we solicited 3 vendors for pricing for a new F-350. We received 4 quotes back, 2 from Bob Thomas and 2 from Burnsworth. Model 1 Ford did not reply, although they did receive the bid packet. Both Burnsworth and Bob Thomas were actually a pleasure to work with. And as everybody can see on the spreadsheet, Bob Thomas came in for a new 2023 F-350 extended cab short bed, $50,688. The next one obviously was again Bob Thomas. That was for 2026 at $51,101.25. Followed by Burnsworth Ford at $56,064.90. And then the last one from Burnsworth Ford was $56,507.66.
And your recommendation?
They were both obviously responsive, but with Bob Thomas being the lowest quote of $50,688.
Yeah, but that's for a 2023.
It's brand new. I did ask, we all know the answer, but I didn't get it, obviously, when this didn't affect the warranty. No, the warranty starts when we sign the paperwork, 36, 36, and then 5-year bumper.
that 3-year difference between the two vehicles in the age of the vehicle, that would make a pretty good difference in insurance and license plates, wouldn't it?
It would make a difference.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Chris?
I can see the wheels smoking over there at Zane Gray also.
Maybe one question, Cora, if you don't mind, is the 26 model versus the 23 model that they quoted for about $400 more, is it the same, would you say, as far as the specs?
I'd have to go through.
I see.
So obviously price will go down, it's, might go up a little bit.
2023, is it a gas or diesel?
It's gas.
Yeah. 7.3,
That one's a 6.8.
6.8.
Version of the 7.3.
So the 23 is available now, the 26 you'd have to wait.
The 23 is available on the lot. The 26, we'd have to build the spec out. And with Burnsworth, both of their options are available on the lot.
Anybody have any comments?
I do. Of course, I always have an opinion. Everybody knows that.
We want to hear it.
Of course.
I'm waiting.
So if it was me, I would go with the 2025 truck from Burnworth Zollers. And they're both in stock on the lot. Am I correct? But Zane, I want to hear what you have to say because you're kind of my truck guy. For $6,000, I'm not sure I would buy a 2023 XL. But I'm also a Ford girl. I drive nothing but Fords. Zane also drives Fords. I know it's new, but it is a 2023 and you're only talking $5,500 difference, but it is 2 years.
And for what it's worth, that is 2 years of sitting on a lot. I just presented it. That was the
I know.
quote.
I know. But I'm not sure that that's worth it. If it was $12,000, maybe, but for that kind of money, it's not worth it, not to me.
Same reservations I had. I mean, obviously it's cheaper, but it's been sitting.
Right. But it's also a model up and 2 years newer. So for the difference in price, I would go with the 2 year newer and the model up.
Both of them at Burnsworth are the 7.3 gas, which is what we've been traditionally buying in the water, wastewater, and street.
What's the engine in the Bob Thomas Ford 23?
It's a 6.8.
Okay, so 6.8 compared to a 7.3. So I would for sure do the Burnworth Zollers then, for sure. So that even makes up my mind even more.
Zane?
I would go with the 7.3 as well.
Since I have a 7.3, I would go with a 7.
Well, I'm a Chevy girl, so.
I think it's,
Sorry,
Please tell me that you mailed these also.
I have all receipts.
Thank you so much.
What?
You have to mail anything in the mail over 50,000. They have to
In all
be,
fairness,
there has to be a
Harold-
stamp and they have to be mailed.
Yeah.
So do you need a motion? Does anybody have any questions?
Guess the only name would be Witchburn Northland.
I would recommend the XLT already has the towing package, already has everything ready to go. As far as what we need, snowplow prep package and the towing package.
It does not have the snowplow package.
I'm sorry, that can be added at the snowplow outfitter.
There's only, what, $500 difference between the two?
So technically, the XLT is the cheaper of the two.
This is the cheaper.
So
That's what I would buy. I would buy the XLT.
And that price is 56, what?
064.90. Is that your motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we buy the 2025 Ford F-350 for the amount of 56,064.90 from Berners Sellers.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, really. Burnsworth been very good to us, especially this last year.
Yeah, and they sell Chevys too, just so you know.
We do.
You don't want to go to that side. That's the dark side.
Okay. And then we also, he wants permission to get quotes on the snowplow and the safety lighting.
Yes, I have one question for Kurt. It's gonna be approximately, with safety lighting and snowplow, approximately 12,000. Do I need to get 3 quotes? Do we need-
So do they come from different vendors? Help me understand it. When you bid it,
Is it coming
quote it,
from,
does it all come as a package or do you buy the truck and the chassis and
The truck is itself, and then the snowplow is separate.
the truck will be less than 50?
Well, excuse me,
No.
snowplow.
We just motioned. for
Oh,
the
that's
truck.
the same
we
one.
just
Oh, yeah,
bought the
no.
truck.
You can just go, I mean, subject to them. If it's under 50, you can just go pick out what you want.
It'll be like 12.
You don't have to get quotes, at least legally, unless they want.
Yeah, I guess that's.
His spending limit is 5.
Oh, that's an internal thing? Okay. I don't know.
Also, on a side note, most vendors, at least for the police department, do not quote, they give estimates only because they don't know what they run into for wire.
Hooking it up and everything.
Ours will be a quote.
You get quotes, cool.
Yep.
I can't get quotes.
So you guys need to give him a motion, right? Because he only has us spending up to 5 is what you're saying?
Well, I'm sure that it'll be the snowplow be one vendor and then the safety lighting will be another vendor, right? Corey?
I'm gonna try to do it all. in one.
Okay.
So are you asking whether or not you have to get multiple quotes?
Correct.
I don't see it.
I think you need a couple anyway, buddy, just for like,
Okay, okay.
how about 2? Can you get 2?
She takes one step forward and 2 back.
How about not 3?
See if you can get a couple quotes. That'll make it
Okay.
simpler.
I tried to help you.
Same tried to help.
Hey, we gave you the nicer truck. Appease me.
I don't think we have to.
Thou giveth, thou taketh away.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Got it.
All right. We will move on to, thank you, Corey. We will move on to Water and Wastewater Department. Aaron's with us tonight.
Anybody have any questions?
None other than, have you had any repairs from the underground digging yet?
Give me a piece of wood. Not yet.
Because you want to knock on it?
We got one.
Well,
Oh,
that's not
geez.
water or sewer. It is some streetlights.
Oh, geez.
Gosh, geez.
I think they're fixing that.
They will be fixing it.
But there's 3 crews around town. I think we're over 240 locates.
Oh, my goodness.
So we've been.
That's probably all you're getting done.
Yeah, yeah. On top of normal stuff, like I had an emergency locate for a water leak. Before I came here, so, but that wasn't ours, that's for trailer park. Switching gears a little, Leatherman's came down and we're measuring for our temporary door covering for when we do tanks. There's a schedule. I just got that on email. I'm not gonna quote anything because I don't have it in front of me, but, that's
For the filters.
correct. That's gonna be happening next week.
That's exciting. That's a long time coming.
Water tower, Steve, where we at on that? I haven't seen anything for a while.
I haven't either on that. So yeah, I don't have an update on the
Yeah.
schedule of that.
It's.
Did they
everything's
sign
signed,
this?
right?
Did they sign the
Yeah.
documents?
They had
They were going
the, yeah, they were going to. I mean, they've signed all the affidavits or the information relating to the E-Verify and the non-collusion and all those things, yes. I don't know if they signed a contract. That's the thing I don't know.
I don't think, we were asking for those documents first.
Okay.
I think the contract's been signed.
I haven't seen it, but I don't need, that's up to you whether you want it.
So they did sign the change, the
It was agreed.
the
Yeah.
Fetawa people signed all the stuff that we needed for the water tower.
I don't know if they've signed it, they've agreed, both Dixon agreed to do the changes in the, what do you call it, the notice of to the contract award.
Notice of award.
Notice of award. And then Fatima, they found out, agreed as well to make it a flat price at the amount of the low bid, where no additional add-ons.
Okay.
So Vicky hasn't been tasked with signing it yet?
No.
Okay, so where's the holdup?
Well, it's been 2 weeks, so somebody should probably follow up with them.
Yeah, I will follow up with them.
What's that guy's name? Peter? Is his name Peter?
Dixon?
Yeah, the
Oh.
Paul.
Mary.
Close.
Peter, Paul, Mary.
Yeah.
All right, let's jiggle his chain and see where, maybe they're waiting on us.
We shouldn't.
So did they become licensed to do work in Indiana?
No,
No,
we're gonna
waiting that.
No, you did waive that.
waive that. Maybe they're waiting on us, so let's check it out, because we need to move forward with that.
We would need the verbiage back from Dixon where they deleted certain portions and changed it, and then we would want to look at that.
Right, but I thought they'd already accomplished all that.
Not to my understanding, they just.
We haven't
agreed to
seen
do it
anything back.
Right, but if they agreed to it, why don't we have that?
Because they haven't done it.
Right. There's probably a contract that needs to be.
Okay, well, all right, let's see who's dropping the ball here.
Okay, anything else, Aaron?
No.
All right, thank you for filling in and
But by the way, the underground boring people, they keep driving through my yard and all that. They only speak 3 words, okay? Fiber, optic, frontier. They only know 3 words.
Why are they hanging out at your place?
I don't know, but they only speak 3 words, okay? But when they move off my property, they speak plenty of other words to each other. But when they're on my property, they only speak 3 words. Fiber, optic, frontier.
There's 3 crews and there's definitely a difference.
That's right. Well, I've talked to all 3 crews, and they only know 3 words. And I know a lot more than 3 words.
It's posing challenges.
Maybe
There's
you
a
could get a
language
job.
There's a very big language barrier. They act like they don't speak English, and I know they do.
All right, moving along.
okay. We're gonna move on to old business, and this is where we're gonna take care of the 110 South Orange Street building. At the last meeting, we approved for the RFP for appraisals. Steve has solicited 3.
Yep, and we had, we gave him a deadline of today at noon, and so we received a total of 2. I gave you a printout of those. They all came back just by email and citing what their price was. They're all in the same range of 2,000. One from Complete Appraisal Services out of Bluffton in the amount of 1,950. The second from All Appraisals out of Angola in the amount of 2,200. And the third one did not reply to the solicitation. So we do have the 2 quotes, and this would be for, I think, defer to Kurt as to, I think 2 appraisals were required before we enter into a formal RFP, request for proposal, which I think is after we get these 2 appraisals back in our hands, then I think we would need to be under Kurt's advice as to what the next steps would be to sell the property, or
If you're gonna sell it, yeah.
if we're going to sell it. And if you recall, we had opened up, we did a different RFP for ideas on what the community or the business community might be interested in doing with that property, and we only received 2 proposals back. One from the STAR team, which was a very interesting proposal to utilize it for almost like a, I don't know if you would call it an incubator, but to bring in other businesses or other nonprofits using it and so forth, kind of a community-based building. And they would, maintain it. It was a very, very commendable, respectable proposal. The other one was from a local business person who's involved in real estate and in construction that would like to purchase it and convert it into basically an office building. So there's interest in the building, and now I guess we're looking to get 2 appraisals going, and then those would come back. Each of them, I should say, they each had about one set of 3 to 4 week window from the time that we would engage them before they would get the results back. The other was a 30-day. So they both seemed like, they were reputable companies, and that's all I know about them. The second one, this Complete Appraisal Service, definitely gave a bit of a resume there, whereas the first one did not. And then I guess depending on what your motion would be, we would engage presumably the 2 services if these quotes are acceptable to you, and get them on the building. We would provide the access they would need. Those results would come back to us. I guess I kind of have a question, Kurt, at this point. When, they'll send the results back probably to me. It would come back to the council, however you want it, either by email and send it when I get it, or we have a meeting. The question did come in, will the results of these appraisals be open information?
I say unfortunately only because, as you know, with the access to public records, people can request them if they request them properly and identify them, and they can get copies, yes. The reason for the appraisals is, of course, like you said, if they sell, they can't sell for less than the average of the 2. So it establishes a floor that they can't go beneath in terms of selling. So any sale, any advertising for a sale, any RFP that would be put out or something along those lines will have to indicate a reserve at the minimum of the average of the 2. So the number will be known as to what the average of the 2 is. And then from there, they can extrapolate, well, maybe, what the others are.
What, I hope I'm not misunderstanding. You need 2 appraisals. You need to add, and then if and when, or whatever we decide to do with the building can't sell for less than the average of the 2 appraisals.
Correct.
Okay, let's just say that you can't sell it for that, then what?
That's a great question. You don't have to sell it at all. So if you advertise and you get a great price and you just decide we want to hang on to it.
No, I'm going further.
Okay.
Say that the average price that you get from the appraisal is 70,000 and
Okay.
someone offers you 65.
Yeah, you cannot accept it, unfortunately.
Right, so you are SOL.
Well, in that regard, yes. Now, there are some exceptions if it's an adjoining property or if it's in a economic revitalization area, you can sell it for less than the average of the two. And that's a process because you have to declare it to be economically depressed and blah, blah, blah.
I don't think it's in that blighted area.
So the answer then probably is yes, you're stuck not being able to sell, or you'll get more appraisals or justify why it's lower. And one reason you might is if you're putting any kind of restrictions on the buyer, the appraisers need to know that, because if you're gonna put some sort of restricted covenant or a right of reversion if they sell, or that will lower the price, of course, from an appraisal.
So remember how we're taking some of that parking lot?
And that's why I gave them in the requests for the appraisal proposals, I gave them the entire RFP,
Okay,
which included the reduced size footprint of the lot,
okay, that's good.
as well as the building condition report.
Okay,
Any of those things will help them
the
lower the
inspection.
Yes.
Okay, that's all good.
Yeah, because you really do, it's strange, but you want it to come in low for obvious reasons, because if you really want to get rid of it, because if it comes in high and you can't find anybody to pay the average.
Well, I'm just saying that the survey that we did, I think the most votes that we got on the survey was the general public didn't want us to put any more money in the building, okay? And it's pretty obvious the STAR team doesn't want us to tear it down, okay? And that's fine too. I'm good with it. So, our best option is to get it back on the tax rolls.
I mean, I would say it was like pretty even on the general public wanting it to be kept to be used for the community versus put it back on the tax rolls.
Right, but in order to get it back to be used for the community, it involves dumping a bunch of money into it, like to make it a public space, like a pavilion with restrooms, which is a great idea, but requires a bunch of money.
Wasn't the response number 1 or 2, I don't remember how it was. Response was 1, sell it, get it off the tax rolls. Number 2,
Get it on the tax
Good.
rolls, on the tax rolls.
Get it on the tax rolls. Number 2 was the pavilion idea and
Slash parking.
Slash
and add parking. Isn't that the way it was?
So those two were actually,
Or am
as
I
Kathy
not
was alluding to,
remembering?
those were equal, virtually
Yeah.
equal.
It doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
I think that's the way it was.
Yeah, but the parking also requires a lot of money.
So is it did the Public Works Committee make the decision that the first choice would be to sell it?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No. That's just, the survey says.
And
I was
while-
trying to remember that correctly.
While you're debating that, of course, you wouldn't want to, unless you just want the knowledge, you wouldn't want to hire these appraisers if you're not inclined to sell, because it's $4,000 to find out the answer.
Yeah, that's why I wondered if both proposals were taken into consideration and evaluated. Because we took them under advisement the last time.
Yes, we did.
So are we going to get the appraisal on them?
Well, that's a good question.
I think we ought to know what the building is actually worth.
Right, I would like to get the appraisals, but I'm only one person.
I just felt like it was a pretty vague proposal from the business owner, and so it put a lot of the responsibility back on us. And so then if we spend this money, I mean, if that's definitely our first choice, then it makes sense to spend the money. But if it's not definitely our first choice, I mean, there was so much.
I don't think the taxpayers would be happy with us giving the building away at all.
But it would be going back to the community, which was
Right, selling it or giving it away, I don't think they would go
We don't-
for giving it away.
We don't necessarily have to give it away either. I mean, that wasn't in the initial 5 years of their proposal. Their proposal wasn't to give it away immediately.
I think
And they
it
were
was
going
for
to-
$1.
And they were going to apply for grants to do all of the updates and.
It was never to buy it. There was never any money.
I'm not saying that, but it wasn't give it on the very first day. It was after a 5-year period with the
That
option
was
of
3
doing it.
years.
It was
Um,
fine.
If you, I'm not trying to convince you to do anything, but if you do give it away, you could always give it away subject to the right of reversion if the use is abandoned or whatever conditions you place on that, just so that you know that. So I've been involved in scenarios where municipalities have had the same dilemma, and they've found a community organization that's 501c3 that's tax exempt that they wanted to give a chance to, and they would turn it over to them with stipulations that, you know, based on these conditions, if it doesn't occur, then it comes back, and then you can go through this process again. I don't know, it gives you a second bite at the apple maybe or something.
I thought the proposal was legit from the business owner, from the business mayor.
I did too. I wouldn't have given a dollar amount if it was me.
Because he has several
he had no
other,
idea?
he has several other businesses. He has a storage business, he has a real estate business. He has several other businesses.
Just remember, he may not ultimately get it, even if you do advertise it, because other people may submit.
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Once we have a dollar amount.
Right, that's the key.
You can open it up to anyone at that dollar amount. I think it's worth our $4,150 to find out what it's worth, but that's just my own opinion. Because nothing is gonna be, the market right now is as high as it's ever been. And nothing is getting any cheaper. It
I think if
hasn't.
you even want to consider selling it, you gotta have these appraisals.
Mhm.
So I support getting the appraisals, because if you don't have the option to sell it.
Absolutely have no option.
So we have one option.
I
And
would
we don't
agree.
know,
That's-
we can't offer it for sale without the appraisals. We don't know what anybody will give us for it. So,
We can't sell it without the appraisals.
correct.
Unless you sell it to, well,
Yeah.
some
Like
501c3.
zero
Yeah,
options. Well, there's only one option at that point. Two options.
Is there a time restriction on appraisals?
That's a good question.
One said 30
They're
days,
supposed to
one
bring
said
it
3 to 4.
Right, the statute says they have to return it within 30 days of their official appointment. The appraisals have to come back. Now, there's no limit on how long we can use those other than market conditions. So in theory, a year for most appraisals is not considered stale, but it really does come down to whether the market shifts. And if the market would crash, you'd want to get another one so that you could lower your threshold. But the answer is the only time limit we have is they're required by statute to return the appraisals to us within 30 days of their appointment. And Steve's got that lined up so far in these proposals.
Yeah, they say it right in writing. 3 to 4 weeks from engagement, 30 days from engagement.
Well, I was thinking more like how long do they last, but he answered that.
Yeah. If the market changes, it would be null and void.
Correct.
I would entertain a motion.
Excuse me.
I'll move that we engage all appraisals for 2,200 and complete appraisal services for 1,950.
I'll second that.
Any other comments or questions?
I guess, will it then go back to the Public Works first? Or,
Oh, yeah, it's not a done deal. It's just, you gotta have the appraisals before you can even consider
It's not
your
gonna,
option.
it's not gonna go back to the public.
Well, I guess I don't understand why, because they didn't have a chance to review both of the proposals, right?
all we're doing is putting a value on the building.
I understand that, but if, it's kind of like saying we're not considering the one proposal.
Oh, you can still consider it. All we're doing is getting what the building's worth. You can still consider the other.
But we wouldn't need to do that if we were even considering the other option at all.
If you want to consider that other option, you can.
That's not what I'm asking. I do want to consider it. I think we need to take both into consideration.
And you can do
But I'm
that, and
saying
you can do that.
The Public Works Committee has not considered it, right?
To answer your question.
That would be a council, consideration. All I want to know is what the building's worth. And that would be, I want the whole council to know what the building's worth. So we have a
So we
first and
have
a
a
second.
motion. Yep.
First and second.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
3-2.
Any other old business? You're going to move on to new business. Rezoning, we have petitioner Sarah Ferris with us, CSP Commercial LLC. She asked the Plan Commission, they met last Wednesday on the 3rd, and she was asking consideration for a request to rezone the former True Love Brother property located at 2255 North State Road 9 from an A agriculture to an IL, which is industrial light. And Sarah came to the Plan Commission, of which Corey and I both sit on. Actually, Steve does as well. And the Plan Commission gave a favorable recommendation. Sarah, thank you for your patience. You want to give them a little bit of the story of what you're planning to do?
So obviously I'm the owner of the park store, and since we opened 12 years ago, it has been our dream to open a service center in the town. And I mean, this is the third property I've looked at, and so when we had the opportunity to purchase it, it just opened a lot of doors for us. Obviously, we've been hard at work, and we are planning to move in 2 weeks. The store, and once the store is moved, then we can get settled in and get to work on getting the service center up and running as well. We're looking to service not only vehicles, but also small engines. I don't know, like there's 13,000 square feet. I don't even know what to do with. So, and also 6 acres of property. But the first thing was obviously that the zoning, they were zoned agriculture because that was what they were into. We're literally doing the same thing, just to a different clientele, opening it up to the entire area. We've had so many people coming into the store, so excited for us, ready. Like, they're like, when can I bring my lawnmower in? You know, think questions like that. And I'm like, we're getting there one step at a time. But we're just super excited. And like I said, in 2 weeks, we're planning to move. And hopefully in that time frame, I keep getting a different date, but I'm hoping that the size is going to be changing here in the next few weeks as well. So there's going to be a huge change in the whole look of the building.
And if I could add something, the current zoning, it was allowed under the grandfather section of the zoning ordinance. And technically, from my interpretation of the zoning ordinance, Sarah and her business group could have continued in that vein under the grandfather clause, but she opted for looking at the future, and this IL zoning, light industrial light, would allow a little more flexibility in the direction that would suit the property as well as their business interests for the future, should it gravitate in that way.
There were some area property owners that attended the meeting that night, which was interesting. Their main concern was wanting to know if they were going to buy and have used parts and used vehicles sitting around and that kind of thing, which was a great question. Sarah said, no, we're not going to become a junkyard or an eyesore of any kind. Sorry, Sherry Korea is also on the Plan Commission. She's with us comments tonight. So we had very good conversation, a lot of really thought-provoking questions, which was really nice. Everyone was very excited for them, especially with the economy the way it is. It's a huge investment in our community, and that's very much appreciated. So based on the favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission, here we are tonight. Is there any questions for Sarah or?
No question.
Excited.
The pictures look really good of the ones that you posted so far.
Absolutely.
I would like to make a motion that we approve and confirm the planning commission's recommendation that we rezone this piece of property at 2255 North State Road 9 from agricultural to industrial light.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So do we have to do this separately? This is the one
That's,
this is
I
it.
assume that's what he didn't
Okay.
pass that motion, did you, to approve that ordinance?
The ordinance 20.
Rezone ordinance, yeah. That's
Okay.
kind of what I thought I heard.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Good luck.
Carol heard it.
Okay, we will move on to now the Noble County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Director appointment. Darcy Fish took over this position during this last calendar year to fulfill a partial appointment. She is interested in serving again. The term would be January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2028. This is a council appointment. Some of you may know they recently put their house on the market. However, she did confirm with me they are still staying in the area. So she would not be, really outside of the Albion area to represent us. So this is a council appointment, not just a council president appointment, so I will need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve Darcy Fish to continue as our liaison with the Noble County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Her term would start January 1st, 2026 and end December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any other new business? If not, we will move on to approval of accounts payable and payroll vouchers dated September 4th and September 9th, 2025.
Make a motion, we approve September 4th and September 9th, 2025 accounts payable and payroll vouchers.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anything else to come before the board? If not, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Moving so smooth.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.